Hello and welcome back to the Single Malt Review, the penultimate episode of the winter meander down the Midwinter blind tastings. My goodness, we're almost there. We're almost towards the end of the Sunday drive, whilst drinking whiskey. Probably not the best analogy, but never mind. We're going so slowly they won't even think to pull us over. It's neck and neck here. If this isn't number 8, then the curse has come true. I suspect the curse was true all along, because it's number 4, of course it is. Oh, of course it is. Never mind, it'll make us wait. So, I'm not even going to think about opening that one. My husband can go over there. And what have we got? This one's a bit of a lighter number here.
Yeah.
Of the surviving few, this is much lighter than what we've been having. So, let us see.
Okay.
So that's a bit more middle of the road, but still a very, very healthy colour. There is a lot of active wood going on there. And I'm going under the impression that none of these are coloured, so we'll take them all as gospel.
Smells good. That's very sweet. That's loads of fresh honey and a bit of citrus, marmalade even.
I think this is probably Southern Hemisphere, but let's go. I'll just curse you with that one off the bat.
What clues are we still working with? Southern Hemisphere,
and
Islay.
Yeah. So if we manage to bone these two up, or rather this one, because the next one should not even be a decision. It should be we should be able to just walk that one in. But
there's always the chance we have mismatched a prior clue with a whiskey.
Yeah. It's possible, but I'm feeling pretty good. This one, however, and I will reiterate from those catching up, if you wanted to chuck us a diddler, and I know people do, then unpeated Islay would be the way to do it. So that's what I'm double looking out for. But on first glance, I'm getting 1, a bit of youth on this one, and 2, a lot of wood, a lot of very active wood, and that usually equals new distilling, and that usually equals in this equation anyway, probably Southern Hemisphere. But.
Oh, I've barreled into an early impression. I don't want to say it because that went.
We'll stay free of the curse for a bit longer this time.
But yeah, I'm almost confident I can just about pick what expression this is.
What are we using? There is. It's quite mentholy. There's a eucalyptus note to this. A lot of fresh wood, and I mean a lot of fresh wood. Like some real freshly sawn timber.
Yep.
It smells like it's got quite a weight to it.
It's got a. Wow, it's got a sting in the tail.
Yeah, I think it's got more ABV, because I was going to say this is 46 plus, I think, in the ABV.
Wow. But I think I can pick exactly what whiskey this is based on that. I think. I could be wrong.
We have said those words before, and I think the hit rate is something like 5%. But no, you're right. That is stonks. That has got way more ABV in it than the nose would suggest. My goodness. All right, it definitely is going to need some of that.
Yeah.
Although, even at full strength, there's a mellowness. There's almost a pastry, oily butteriness that flourishes on the finish, which is a bit interesting. That's not such a sign of youthful whiskey. Goodness me, look at that. Look at the water split the legs there. Incredible. That is really quite strong, I think.
Yeah, I think this is whiskey I've had before, but not this expression of it. This is, if I'm right, it's one that happens in a periodic release, with a little bit, it's a little bit different each time, but with one unifying element.
I wish I was quite as confident as you were. This is, I'll say I'm 80% that this is definitely Southern Hemisphere, probably from New Zealand, because it does absolutely reek of new distilling, literally. But there's a danger, and it's a small danger, because they have been building distilleries on Islay, and therein introduces a danger, but I don't think the danger is worth calling, panicking over. I think it is just that much more likely to be Southern Hemisphere based on what we are tasting, which is there's almost a green quality to the wood, almost a if you've sawn through greenwood as opposed to what do they call it? Not matured, not
seasoned.
Tempered, seasoned. That's the one. Yeah, seasoned wood. It has quite a different energy to it. There's There's an astringency and a sappiness to it. There's a green energy. This has got this in spades, but my fear is that this could be some sort of very young Isla Bay.
There's always a possibility, yeah.
One of these newcomers in Ireland. But I think, like I say, I don't think that's worth panicking, and I'm not going to do it would be sarcastic beyond belief to do the under-over on this one and bet on either to bridge the gap. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with you and say Southern Hemisphere.
Yep.
Probably this does not strike me as Australian. This strikes me as probably New Zealand. It could be... I think this could be a Thompson's,
right.
And I think it could be the Thompson's... What the hell do they call it? It's got a funny name, it's cask strength, and I thought the second present release wasn't as good as the last one.
Two-tone?
No. This is their special... This is their... I don't know if it's single cask. Got a funny name. Anyway, it's the Thompsons with the funny name that I didn't think was as good as the first release. Oh. That's all. You can web that together to find what it is.
The one I'm thinking is Starward Ginger Beer Cask. It has some hints that remind me of it. It was my whiskey of the year a few years back. That year's expression of it, anyway. High proof, produced in small batches, with that wonderfully orangey, citrusy, chocolatey, spicy note to it from those. That I think 6-month finish in a ginger beer barrel.
I don't think I remember that. I remember tasting that one. I remember it tasting more insane.
Yeah,
than this one.
This was pretty bonkers on the first sip, I thought. No, definitely getting Starward vibes and the ginger beer barrel whiskey.
Well, that's a good spread between New Zealand and Australia. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what this one's got for us, because this is a pretty elemental, pretty simple whiskey. There's not a hell of a lot to talk about beyond the primary numbers here, and I think we've hit most of them. Let's see what it's got for us. We've left the jolly box on the set. Never mind. Can't see the water jug like that.
Paper is on your left.
So here's number 4. Here it comes. I'm going to let you see before we see, although I'll sort of see because the phone is here. Oh, jeez. I think I might have spoiled myself. I think I can see a Cardrona. And yes, we can. Cardrona Full Flight Solera, 62.8%.
Wow. Holy crap. Okay.
Bourbon plus Oloroso. So it is New Zealand. It is not Thompson's.
No.
But it's in a similar vibe. This is actually pretty old for New Zealand whiskey. I thought it was way younger than that.
7, definitely. One I've had before. I've tried the Full Flight, but not this expression. Pardon me, Mike.
So that's... Wow. I'm actually pretty surprised that's 7 years old.
Yeah.
I guess when you're dealing with...
And but it's over 60 ABV.
Well, that I'm less surprised by, because it certainly smacks like that.
And
but
Cardrona being way down south in the hills is cool.
I'm probably thinking of New Zealand distilling through the lens of using small casks, sort of pilot casks almost.
Yeah.
But Cardrona being one of our bigger and certainly one of our more long-standing distillers, they're using production casks. So these will be proper bourbon barrels and proper Oloroso casks, and so these will be much, much bigger. So it'll be maturing much, much slower. It's probably why it's quite so...
It has been through Solera aging rather than...
Yeah, that's a bit weird. That's a bit odd. You wouldn't get away with that in Scotland, but there's no such stipulations down here. Yeah. So I guess if you wanted to do it that way, I'm not sure what the rationale is, but...
it gives you a different influence. It's a mixture of the older whiskey and younger without having to top dress. I can see that there, 'cause it means that everything here is at least 7 years old anyway, but it'll be older whiskey too. And just the gradual sort of tiered influence of the casks.
So this is good whiskey.
Yeah.
But I think I've talked about tainting oneself. Now that I know it's Cardrona and I know what it is, I'm being tainted by how much I know this costs, because Cardrona remains just astonishingly expensive. As whiskey to whiskey. I couldn't even hazard, but this is probably getting into $300 New Zealand dollar territory, and I'll bet it probably came out of a 500ml bottle too. That's my main problem with Cardrona. They're fixing it. They're going in the right direction, but goodness me. But yeah, so it is probably even the fact that I even had to broach the question, the fact that I even had to make the squinty face and be at all concerned that this might have been unpeated Islay whiskey that's a mark of quality distilling from a New World distiller, because That's what's so difficult to emulate. That's sort of the final hurdle of making Scotch whisky in New Zealand, is to make it taste like Scotch whisky. I think the one that got closest, we tried that Pocono, which was almost indistinguishable. That was truly remarkable in how close they were to the standard. It's not to say that one should try and emulate Scotch directly, but proving you can do it proves you've solved distilling.
Yeah.
You've solved distilling in New Zealand. If you can do that, then you can go off and do your own thing. But I think proving you can do distilling properly and make a good old fashioned Scotch should be the first step on a distilling journey. Because if you haven't cracked that, that's the walking before you can run equation there. So. Yeah, this one is. I don't think it's much of a wintertime whiskey. This is more of a summertime whiskey because it's very crisp and refreshing.
Well,
and
in
light.
summer, that 62+% ABV would whack you even harder in the face.
That would
than this one
probably
did, so.
That would probably hit us a lot harder.
The cool air is helping there, I think. I can see in hindsight why I was so confident about Starwood there, because, again, of the influence of fortified wine casks and an unusual aging process and unusual style.
Yeah. I need to taste it again, but scraping back to that solitary taste I had of the ginger beer cask, I just remember it being way more insane.
I still have about half a bottle of it. I go through bottles so slowly, but it's still there.
We should get back into that one sometime.
It's jolly good. But I know they do a new one each year, so that's why I was thinking this is similar enough. I'm tasting the big fizzy orange and other notes I got from the ginger beer barrel, but it's different somehow. It's different because it wasn't that at all.
I'll say this for it: the finish on this one is really, really quite pristine. If everything else about it is sort of a perfectly respectable 7, that beautiful slow creaminess, which takes a good 10 seconds to slowly unfold in the absolute back of the palate, the aroma coming through, that's a 9. That's really, really getting up there into quality distilling. So I think that's a measure of how good the spirit is. It just needs a few more years to move forward into the front of how things are going. So Cardrona is still one to watch. Appallingly, I think this would be really, really good with an ice cube. Were we in summer, I think it would be possibly the most astonishingly expensive whiskey you could have with an ice cube, but I think, nonetheless, it might make a perfectly good cooler drink.
Whereas on today's cooler day, it is practically a whiskey with an ice cube by default.
We're the ice cubes today. We get enough of that at work. So no, lovely to see, and I guess that makes the next one a bit of a gimme.
Yeah.
So join us next time for what will presumably be, and I'll get it before we even look at the bottle, Isla. Boom. Pick of a lifetime. Right, catch us then.